So, warm greetings, and happy to have this hour to meditate and talk about the Dharma together. And the idea of relaxing the body and then relaxing the mental activities is might seem to be not a particular spiritual thing to do or so significant, but it is quite meaningful in many ways. It gives us a feeling for a sense of what's possible as we go deeper and deeper, the deeper tranquility, the deeper forms of letting go and freedom. It's also significant in that it's not just an issue of relaxing, but also the issue of feeling the consequence of relaxing or calming or letting go, feeling the influence it has on us. Sometimes when we relax parts of our body, areas around the area respond. Sometimes occasionally if you relax, if you're sitting upright and you relax the belly, something then lifts in response. Sometimes there's a lifting of the torso that goes together with the relaxing. Sometimes relaxing the shoulders. There can be a lifting then of the neck and the head, of the upper spine. Relaxing the elbows, and it can have a nice effect down to the hands. And relaxing the face can have an uplifting feeling in the mind. Or in relaxing, there might be a feeling of lightness or even vitality that comes. Something gets released as we relax. When we're really tense, there's a lot of energy in tension, but the energy and the tension is all kind of contracted. And there can be a wonderful, very subtle feeling of as the tension is released, so there's a freedom of a certain kind of vitality, openness, ease, lightness. So as we do this relaxation that we often do at the beginning of a sitting, you might see what's subtle, and it might be quite subtle, influence that has. What's left over? What good things follow the relaxation? And you can appreciate it if it's pleasant or enjoyable. Spend a few moments appreciating that, taking it in, the joy, the lightness, the pleasure of it. So sitting upright and closing your eyes. And gently taking a few somewhat deeper breaths. Just deep enough so you feel like you are expanding, stretching good part of your torso. And as you exhale, to release and relax the torso, whatever in your body feels easy to relax. And then letting your breathing return to normal. And starting with the belly, relaxing the belly, softening around the belly, and feeling whatever is pleasant or enjoyable or good about that relaxation. The influence the relaxation has around the belly. Relaxing as you exhale, relaxing the chest, softening in the chest. And if there's relaxation, feeling whatever pleasure, lightness, or openness that results. Feeling your shoulders as you breathe in, relaxing your shoulders as you exhale. And then there's the muscles of your face. As you exhale, softening in the face, letting the muscles fall away from the skull. And then feeling the vitality or the openness, the peacefulness that follows. And then bringing your attention to where in your body you most associate with thinking. If there's any physical feeling, sensation associated with mental activity, maybe in the area on your head, but it could be somewhere else. And as you exhale, relax your mental activity, relax your thinking. Soften in the mind and feel whatever goodness or pleasure, vitality or peace that seems to result from that, however subtle. And then feeling the whole global body, a wide feeling of being here in your body. And with the exhale, release the body. Relax the whole body and feel the influence that has on the body. Feel the mind, kind of the global mind, if that's available to you. And then release the whole mind and feel the influence of that release. And when there is relaxation, there's more room to feel contentment, to feel some peace, to feel a kind of healthy vitality of just being alive and breathing. That might even have some joy or well-being as part of it. So then as we now continue with breathing, breathing in and breathing out, breathe with whatever is pleasurable, enjoyable, peaceful. That's here in the wake of letting go, relaxing, letting go into the present moment, relaxing into the body, releasing the mind. Whatever influence that remains from having settled in and just being here, breathe with that good influence. Let it support you to quiet the mind even more. quieting, a stilling of an active mind and a contracted body. Just here. as you relax or get calmer, more settled in the sitting, feel the goodness of that. Feel the pleasure or the what's positive about that. Even if it's subtle, feel the influence of that throughout your being. And without focusing on it so much, include it as the atmosphere as you breathe in and breathe out. Even if there are difficulties, in the peripheral attention, breathe with whatever goodness is here, whatever pleasure, contentment, peace. The atmosphere within which breathing occurs. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to consider that your ability to relax, be calm, have some tranquility is a gift to others. Especially if you consider that when we relax, there's an influence on us. There's a impact or a result that it allows us to be present with less clinging, with less of the movements of mind and heart that come with clinging, less assertive, less forceful on people, less projecting our expectation, demands, our bias, prejudice, our preferences. And instead, when we're relaxed, some of the good qualities that we have are more available. Care, attention for others, kindness and friendliness, generosity. So not just to feel, not just to relax for its own sake, not to get calm for its own sake, as if it's just for us, but appreciate the impact, the results, the influence that has on us in a way that lets us participate in our social world in a better way. And may it be that we reflect on how this meditation practice does in fact help us participate in the world in a better way, both consciously and unconsciously, intentionally and unintentionally. May the influence of our practice spread benefits out into the world. May all beings benefit from our meditation. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And if we notice how our goodness can benefit the people and beings around us, may we have the wisdom to do so. May we have the inspiration to do so. So, in doing this Buddhist path, doing meditation practice, it's certainly helpful to relax, to calm the places that are overactivated, to relax the places that are overly tense, to bring tranquility to the ways in which we're anxious or agitated. And sometimes then the emphasis is on the relaxation, on the calming. But one of the things that's, I think, very important to develop on this path of practice is a skill, is a heightened sensitivity to the tension, to the agitation, to the ways in which we get tense. And the reason for that is that we want to become skilled at it. We want to be able to recognize it well and clearly so that it becomes something we pick up early as it begins, or so that we become more aware of the more subtle ways in which we get caught and cling. If we're only focusing on the relaxation and the calm, we might not become experts at perceiving tension. And now all the tensions we feel, tension in the body, maybe I shouldn't say all, but most of it, probably represents some way that the mind is clinging to something. It's fixated on something. It's pushing on something in the mind. And much of the physical tension that we have represents something deeper in the mind. And the surface tensions of the mind that we might feel when we're really, anxious or upset or tense around something, also represents probably something deeper in the mind, some deeper place of holding, of clinging, of attachment. And so even though we're maybe talking about physical relaxation, what we're relaxing is something that has its source in the mind, deep in the mind, the clinging in the mind. And so the idea is to start becoming more sensitive to clinging, to tension. And that has many benefits. One is that it can help us go further and further and deeper into practice because we've gotten familiar with all little ways that clinging appears in our body and mind and heart. But also we can, it's also a protection for ourselves. It protects our practice because it's very easy to practice with tension, practice with attachment, and we don't see it. So, paradoxically, a person could get the instructions, just relax your tension. And they get so serious about the relaxing, and they tense up around, I have to really do it well here. The teacher says to relax, and by golly, I'm going to relax. I'm going to be the best relaxer anywhere. And then we relax, certainly we relax part of the body, but the mind has gotten tense in the effort to push. Any instruction people get in practice, we can get attached to the instruction. Any idea of what might happen in practice, we get attached to wanting that to happen, or attached to somehow clinging, kind of a negative clinging to, oh, that's not happening to me, it's not possible for me, that doesn't relate to me, or that's not right. So there can be this tension, this holding onto that in a way that limits our freedom. And so if we start becoming skilled at recognizing tension, then we recognize the very tension that's involved in how we practice, what we're looking for, wanting to have happen in practice. And so it becomes a protection that we're not ahead of ourselves in practice, that we're not trying to make something happen or expect something to happen that's not actually what is happening. The default is always to come back to what is happening. And in doing that, again, we recognize maybe how we're tense. Recognize the pushing, the striving, the contraction that might be there. And then as we let go of that, then there's an influence that has on us. And part of this recognizing tension deeper and deeper is that we can recognize what is not tension. We can recognize the impact that has on us to let go, to soften, to relax. And we can recognize that there's more happening here than the tension. I've certainly had the experience of being overly concerned with my tension in my body and mind, that or overly concerned with something I'm supposed to do, like focus on the breathing, that I didn't notice that in the wider picture of what's going on, there was in fact some settledness, some calmness, some peacefulness, some very subtle kind of delight in just being here. And I was so fixated and concerned with my preoccupation. And so this idea of relaxing and opening the attention to feel the influence of relaxation, the influence of tranquility, allows us to feel some of the other goodness that's here, some of the other things that are actually going well for us. And this is because as this anapanasati deepens, we want to broaden the attention to take in the bigger picture as well of what's happening. So the joy and the happiness of practice, the contentment, belongs to this kind of a little bit bigger picture. And it might be subtle, nothing dramatic, and we might then get fixated, get attached to having joy, attached to having happiness, or disappointed that we don't have it. And that's tension. And if we are skilled at looking at tension, we'll catch it right away. So it doesn't trip us up. Oh, there's tension. Maybe rather than looking for joy, I should really spend time feeling that tension so it can relax, it can soften. Or let me not be limited by the tension. Let me kind of open up the attention wider, not in a fixated way, but in an open, relaxed way. And so but then as we open, if we do feel some of the goodness of the relaxation, some of the goodness of the practice that's occurring, I think of it as the atmosphere, or the mood of a room, or the atmosphere of a situation we're in. We can go into. I've gone into some places, and the atmosphere is clearly peaceful, and I feel like I'm being washed in peacefulness. I go into other atmospheres, of social atmospheres, and it just immediately feels very tense, the whole thing. So the kind of the atmosphere within us, and take in the atmosphere of the goodness, even if it's subtle, and breathe with that. Not to deny other things, not to lose our ability to notice when we get tense or tight or contracted or resistant or all the different expressions of clinging, but as a way of creating a nice atmosphere that supports the further letting go of clinging, that gives us confidence, that gives us some sense of the rightness of the moment, as opposed to it's so easy to focus on the wrongness of the moment. Some people are really experts at this. And this is not to make a Pollyannish view, everything is good, but it's to create an atmosphere that allows us to hold and be with the difficulties in a way that we don't get fixated or cling to them or resist them too tightly. So all this is a way of saying that part of what we were doing in this practice is becoming an expert on tension. And so even though if the emphasis might be on relaxing, don't become tense because you're trying to relax or because you can't relax. Keep remembering that recognizing and learning to feel, sense, and become more of a connoisseur, all the different flavors and textures of tension, of clinging, of holding, of attachment, is actually a very important part of the practice. And so you want to take some time to feel it and get to know it, and not to be in a hurry to relax, or not not in a hurry to get rid of anything that's uncomfortable, because the lesson of what you learn by really feeling it fully is you learn how to be prepared better for next time, how to catch it earlier, how to protect yourself from being caught in it next time. So part of this Buddhist path is to become skilled in tension, not skilled in tensing, because we don't want to learn better how to tense, but skilled in recognizing tension and seeing it when it's there, seeing it sometimes almost when it's beginning. And the last thing I'll say about this is that importance of not confusing tension with intentness. Sometimes there's an intentness that has a certain energy and engagement, that and wholeheartedness that doesn't have the quality of limitation or debilitation that tension or clinging has, but it's really present. There can be intentness of the body, intentness of the mind. I'm here. This is what I'm doing. I'm involved in this. But there's no tension. There's maybe a tautness, but no contraction or tentness. And so, because sometimes people, when they hear relax their intentness, they relax their healthy tautness, and they move towards becoming just a slouch, just kind of move towards becoming just too limp to really let the vitality of practice operate. So certainly relaxing, calming, becoming tranquil, peaceful is a support for this practice. But don't overlook the important work of becoming skilled at recognizing tension, and maybe take some delight and satisfaction as you become more and more connoisseur of all the different ways that you're tense. And rather than being disappointed when you see it, you say, "Oh, fantastic. I get to study this and get to know it better. It's not so pleasant right now to the tension in and of itself, but in the long term, I'm much better off to really become the student of tension before I focus too much on relaxing." So, thank you. And tomorrow morning as well, we'll have this 6:45 sitting and little talk at 7:30. And tomorrow, Diana Clark will lead it. She's my co-teacher for this retreat I'm teaching this week, and I'll take that early morning off, and she'll come and offer something for this sitting, and then we'll continue with this Anapanasati with step 9, moving forward now on Monday. Thank you.